That's right. It's almost live. Welcome to the Eternal Baseball Podcast.
It's live when recorded.
Right? Live on tape. We're only, if we're built of anything, it's honesty. So full disclosure, we got some conflicts tonight. So we are taping this a little earlier in the day, but don't be concerned. It'll be just as good as our shows always are. It's the Eternal Baseball Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Mark Weber. It's my pal Brent Rotundi. We will be bringing you the week that was in Eternal Baseball. We got a couple of kooky hijinks today that I think you'll dig. But then we got the main event, which is, I think, almost assuredly a playoff preview because of the division leaders, Birmingham, the Knights, made of the greatest players in Negro League's history. They have always been an incredible force in our first two seasons. And this year, they're not that good. But they're so much better than everyone in their division, they're going to win the division. And they're assuredly going to be the weakest division winner in the American League, which means in our expanded playoffs this year, they'll play the top wildcard team. And by a decent amount so far this year, that's, hold on, let me get it right. Those guys right there.
There it is.
Your Boston Red Sox.
All right, spill the beans.
Anybody who's paid attention to the first 68 Eternal Baseball podcasts, or who knows me at all, knows that I'm a Yankee fan living deep behind enemy lines here in New England. So this is the first bit of Red Sox anything that I've owned, and it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense until, and watch this, this is the interactive portion.
All right. See, I thought you just lost a wager to someone.
Yeah, no, is there. I have a very small collection of sports jerseys with the name Weber on the back. And it doesn't matter who you play for, as long as you're in the bigs. I'll try to hunt down a Weber jersey at a reasonable price. I'm not breaking the bank on any of this because some of them don't even fit. Like this guy. This is Ryan Weber's game-worn Red Sox jersey. And the only reason it was in my price range is because Ryan Weber ain't that good. 2019 to 2021, I'm looking him up right here on Baseball Reference. So for Boston and a couple other teams, because he bounced around in 2021, 3-7 with a 5.5 ERA. But hey, that's my name. So
there you go. And when the rioting starts, you can just hang that in your window. So
yeah, I'm good.
No, you're not.
don't come for me.
They
not
a Yankee fan, I promise.
So I got this thing in, and before I even looked him up, because it was a no-brainer at the cost it was. I'm like, all right, I'm getting it. And then I'm like, what if I could actually wear that? Yeah, Ryan Weber, 6'1", okay, 175. Yeah, I'm a good 65 pounds away from fitting in this men's.
You can't wear it yet.
Yeah, well, it would take a lot. Like me cutting off my arms to fit into this jersey. But anyway, happy to have it in the collection. It'll sit alongside Montreal Canadiens defenseman Shea Weber. He's down there. I got a Weber State jersey because that counts even though they pronounce it wrong. There's a couple other Webers down there. So Mike Weber from Ohio State got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys as running back. He's no good, but that makes his jersey cheap. So pretty exciting. And when I do the eBay search, I get so many Chris Weber jersey hits because he was popular but never ended up resonating in any one place. So a lot of people,
almost.
Yeah, he spells his name wrong. So no, don't need that. So that's my first Red Sox jersey, and it is Red Sox Birmingham Knights tonight on our game of the week. And the Red Sox are coming on strong, and it's what we kind of talked about mid-season. They have two guys who I didn't know much about, Ray Collins and Carl Mays, who are ridiculous good this year. Just happen to probably have that modifier getting their numbers up. So that means the back half of the Boston rotation is in their prime. Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Cy Young is their fifth starter.
The bums, just the bums, all bums.
So, and it is Pedro tonight. So We'll take a look at that.
This might be a quick one.
Yeah, hopefully. And it was going to be Nip Winters, a good lefty from the Negro Leagues, but Satchel Paige actually got bombed on Friday night, only pitched an inning and 2/3. So Winters came in relief. That makes it Ray Brown tonight, who's another really, really good pitcher from Negro League history. So let me share my screen here. And I want to show off. I think this was the game of the year. And if you like home runs and fireworks and offense, it is not your kind of deal. But check out this box score. I just made the whole box score one of our players of the day on Friday. Because AL Cy Young favorite Stan Kovaleski, who was known as one of the first really good spitball pitchers of the 1900s. There's a story that Ty Cobb once fouled one off and got a spray of tobacco juice in his face. And if you know Ty Cobb, you know he probably just didn't, shrug that off. Anyway, Stan Kovaleski, he's the black and white image down there, and Dennis Leonard, who was the ace of the 70s Royals, squared off, and it's a shame neither one of them won this game. Because Mike Sweeney took Doug Jones deep in the 14th inning for a 1-0 win. But dig it, Kovaleski went 12 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Not too bad. And the second he came out, Doug Jones got 2 outs and then gave up the walk-off. Okay. But Dennis Leonard went 11 1/3 innings and only gave up 1 hit.
Jeez.
I should have looked it up, right? Because I think that's one of the most unfortunate things in the baseball rule book is if you go more than 9, if you have a no-hitter through 9, but you give up a hit in the 10th, that's not a no-hitter. Like, because you gave him a hit, man. So anyway, so neither one got the win, but I think it was the best game of the year. We had a game like this in our first season where it was Randy Johnson and Satchel Paige. I think both threw 12 innings of shutout baseball. And I'm like, can you imagine the butterflies for the first reliever in on either side? Like, oh God.
Yes. Dude, I'm just marveling at the entire Kansas City Royal lineup is hovering around the Mendoza line.
Yeah. Look at that. Been a bad year in Kansas City. And what I can't fathom here is, and sometimes the AI is a little wonky, this was a day off for George Brett, right? At no point in this 14 inning scoreless game did they pinch hit George Brett.
He was back at the hotel.
Yeah, right? Like, man, I can't even imagine him sitting in the dugout for 14 innings. Just waiting for an opportunity, and they never called his name. So.
I mean, actually, Cleveland's not much better over there. Look at that.
Look at Cleveland. Hafner and Tomei and Doby and some of this. Even Jose Ramirez hitting 191. Like, it's a bad year all told. Like, there's only one qualified American League batter hitting 300. That's Boggs. Boggs is at like 324. He could sleep at the plate for the last 50 games and win the batting title. So
it's like they moved the mound in 10 feet or something.
Yeah. If our pal TD, the big Tiger fan, said, looks like 68 with all these low batting averages. Tigers are winning the whole thing. And I'm like,
there you go.
Or we're going to lower the mound and that happened too. So anyway,
it's just flat.
Yeah. So kudos to Stan Kovaleski. He's led the league in the ERA most of the year. Dropped down to 1.57 after this game. And you're no spoiler, but likely Cy Young Award winner right there. And Cleveland's doing real well. So anyway, let's dive into the week that was. And this was a weird week because only one team had a really good week, and it's the Yankees, who have the best record in the league. They went 6-0. We had
81-26,
right? Really good, but they're led by their pitching for the first time. They are the defending champs, but normally they just swat the ball everywhere, and it's a pitching-led squad. I don't know if that's good or bad as we head eventually toward the playoffs, and it looks like they'll be in. We had some teams with rough weeks. Some of the usual suspects. Arizona's had a rough year. Colorado's had a rough year. Houston has had a really rough year because they were pretty good last year. The Rangers are scuffling, and then the Nationals just cratered out at 0-6 this week. So I guess inspired by our game of the week last week, the Nats have given it up, it looks like. So, but it's weird. Usually there's at least 2, usually 3 or 4 teams that have strong weeks. And there were some 4-2 guys, but there were so many 4-2 guys. It didn't make much sense to call them all out, right? If everybody's special, nobody is. So kudos to the Yankees for their strong week, and rest in peace to the Washington Nationals, who were 500 like a third of the way through the year, and I was really pulling for them. But yeah, anyway, that's the week that was in Eternal Baseball. But this is where the standings are right now. So this is through Sunday's games, and we'll be playing the first game off the Monday schedule. And the Dodgers have started to close a little bit against the Giants. The best race is right here with the Cardinals, who are red hot against the sputtering Cubs. They're only a game back. But if you dig into it, the Cardinals are the third best team I guess fourth best in the National League. They just happen to be in a division with a strong team. But San Fran's good. Atlanta is okay, but they're so far up in their division, they could absolutely coast. The Expos pitching has been fantastic, and that's keeping Philadelphia at bay. Oakland's was bad last year, but good this year. Cleveland's really good. They're pitching fueled. You saw their lineup, but the White Sox are on their heels. Tigers have had rough years from 3 or 4 of their best players, so it feels like this maybe won't be Detroit's year. Birmingham is a game under 500, but 11 games up in that week AL South. And then the Yankees are really good, but Boston and Baltimore are both excellent. Yeah. So odds are, I guess technically the White Sox and Orioles are tied for the second wild card, because there'll be 2 wild cards in each league. So I don't want to discount the White Sox, but it certainly feels like Boston and Baltimore are going to be. Boston's likely a wild card team. Baltimore's certainly in that hunt. So that's what we're looking at. Let's fire up the schedule for the 20th. So it's Birmingham and Boston. We'll set the lineups. And one of the funny things, it helps explain why Birmingham is not as good this year. Josh Gibson, and even people who don't know much about Negro League Baseball know the names. Pretty much Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson are the absolute standard bearers for that league. And Josh Gibson has had a rotten year. So that's part of the reason why Birmingham is mortal this year. But it's a good look at Fenway Park. And we know that it is Ray Brown, who is 10-9, but with a 2.62. So he's had a good year. And it's Pedro Martinez.
Smokey Joe Wood.
Smokey Joe Wood, he's good too. But yeah, if you get back into this, because it's sorted by ERA, Ray Collins didn't start the year in the rotation, but he's 8-1 with a .75. Whew. And this is going to be where we have to figure it out come playoff time if Boston's in. I mean, how do you ignore
Cy Young?
Right? How do you ignore Ray Collins and then Carl Mays 12-2 with a 1.61?
I mean, if you look at Clemens, Young, and Martinez, though, they're still slinging there.
Yeah, they're not bad either. So I don't know how it's going to shake out, but either way, Boston is loaded and really doing it with their pitching. So, but batting wise, they're facing a right-hander, and Dewey Evans just came up like 2 weeks ago, and he's really good.
Let's get him in.
His numbers are great, but it's small sample size, so we may not hit him top 3.
Let's get him in, though. Yeah,
I think he's in there, especially because Manny and Jim Rice are having rough years. So is JD Martinez. So, all right. So the way it usually goes, I don't know what. Oh, Boggs doesn't hit for much power, but his on base is fantastic. So it's usually been Boggs leading off, and then I've been hitting Williams third just to split up the lefties.
Gotcha.
So what do you like there for the 2-hole road? You like Nomar? You like Dewey?
Yeah, put Nomar there. Shoot.
Nomar goes 2. I mean, might be Evans 4. It's either Evans or Mike Stanley if you're looking for a right-hander.
Why don't you go? Yeah, sure. Do Evans, then Yaz.
Evans. And most people don't think of Yaz as a center fielder because he played most of his career in left, but Ted only plays left. So unless you're going to DH Ted, that ends up putting Yastrzemski in center.
Sounds good. Good enough.
And then you have either Bogarts and this is a weird bit, because Boston's first basemen have not played well. Nomar qualifies at first base because he played it later in his career. So you can actually play Nomar at first, and he's not bad. And Bogarts can play short because Bogarts doesn't play anything else.
Perfect.
So do you want Stanley or Bogarts next?
Bogarts, probably.
Bogarts, and then looks like maybe Mo Vaughn is our DH.
Okay.
He's had kind of a rough year, but.
And Pedroia.
And then probably Stanley at some point here.
Yeah, Stanley Pedroia.
To catch. And then Pedroia, Sun Devil. Coming on. Either him or Marty Barrett, Sun Devil. Either
Marty
way.
Barrett.
Yeah, I should get Barrett on here. 86 World Series MVP, right?
Ooh. I think so, man. Something like that.
I remember I was just starting to really get into baseball, and they announced Barrett as the MVP of the 86 World Series. And then the Mets came back, and they had to take it away and give it to Ray Knight when the Mets won.
Why would you announce that prior?
Right, and I think it changed. They either had ignored the rule or there became a rule afterwards that we're not naming the MVP. You can have the CG ready, you can have the Chiron ready to go up, no problem.
Yeah,
but not till the fat lady sings. So, all right, that gives us a pretty good Boston lineup. A little soft defensively, but we'll see how it shakes out. Over here for Birmingham, and the Knights are always a fun lineup to put together because most of their guys play 2, 3, 4 positions. Easy. So you can get crazy creative here. And the one thing that's a change from normal seasons anyway, Louis Santop is a fantastic catcher and a great hitter, and has usually been the caddy essentially for Josh Gibson, who's a catcher. But Santop has been awful, and that allowed Biz Mackey, fantastic name, to get called up, and he's incredible. He hasn't played that much, but look at him against righties. The OPS is 1,350.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So he's in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll trust your judgment on this one.
All right. Well, Mule Suttles is their monster hitter, and he's a terrible first baseman. So he usually DHs.
Mule.
Mule, yeah. They got Mule and Turkey. Mule Suttles and Turkey Stearns. And Turkey Stearns will lead off and play center.
Bullet Rogan. I mean, some of these nicknames are just fantastic.
So and this guy, Oscar Charleston, was a monster of a man. And there's a story about him getting on a train with the guy, I forget his name, but it was the pro wrestling heavyweight champion of the world at the time. And it was the nearest empty seat. And so now remember, this is a long time ago, and no one ever said if this was fully racism or not. Some people said the world champ actually had his wife traveling with him, and so he was saving her seat, and she was, I don't know, in the luggage cart or something. And so Oscar said, "Can I have that seat?" And Jim Londos, I think that was his name, Jim Londos, a pro wrestling, now again, is pro wrestling, but he's a big guy, looks up at Oscar Charleston and has a completely empty seat next to him. And he looks up at him and says, "That seat's taken." And Oscar Charleston, who probably had to deal with a whole lot of this kind of thing his whole life, looked down at Jim Londos and said, "Guess what? In 1 minute, one of us is going out that window."
Wow. Dang.
And supposedly that's what Jim Londos said. You know what? Fine. Have a seat. So, anyway, good story about Oscar Charleston. Okay, so Newt Allen he's pretty good. I scuffle because Willie Wells, their shortstop, has been, I think, an MVP finalist the first 2 seasons, but he hasn't been that good this year. So we're just playing the numbers. Cristobal Toriente plays everywhere, center, right, third. He'll probably be our third baseman today. Wells will play short. Martin Dehigo, and I've listened to a lot to learn how to pronounce that right, is fantastic. He plays everywhere. He'll be their second baseman. Can't play without Josh Gibson, so he'll DH. Or maybe he'll catch. Oh, I forgot all about Biz Mackey. Hang on.
You can put Gibson in left or right.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. All right.
Not amazing, but
it'll save the DH. So apparently I can't believe I forgot Biz Mackey because he's having such a good year. And he's a fantastic catcher. So catcher, Newt Allen's my second baseman. Gibson can play left. I'm sure Dihigo can play right. Yeah, and Suttles is my. Ooh, Dihigo's a bad right fielder. Hang on. Maybe he's my left fielder. Gibson and right. All right.
All right. Looks good.
It's going to hurt, but we can't play without Josh Gibson. So
yeah, that's mandatory.
Time for baseball.
Welcome to Fenway Park for tonight's game between Birmingham and Boston. Boston has won 8 of their last 10. Ray Brown takes the mound for Birmingham. He's made 20 starts on the year and is 10-9 with an earned run average of 2.62. His third start against Boston. He's 1-0 with a 386 earned run average against Boston. He'll be opposed by Pedro Martinez for Boston. He's made 23 starts on the year and is 9-8 with an earned run average of 3.17. His third start against Birmingham. He's 2-0 with a 260 earned run average against Birmingham. It's 44 degrees, wind speed 11 miles per hour, out to center field, and we have a 35% chance of rain. Pitching for Boston, number 45, Pedro Martinez. Leading off for Birmingham, center fielder, Turkey Stearns.
Turkey Stearns.
Play ball.
The sim is so realistic, it makes you sit through the rain delay.
Right.
It's gonna be like 6 hour brook.
And
Beastmaster.
This wasn't right. This wasn't planned, but I do think it's kind of cool that we're playing with the Birmingham Knights and Fenway has the Black Lives Matter banner.
There you go.
Out in right field. So for the Negro League players who suffered so much racism, for them to show up at Fenway Park and then be getting some support.
There you go.
I think that's kind of cool.
In Boston.
In Boston, which has a fractured racial history. One thing I didn't pay that much attention because I wasn't watching when Dwight Evans was in his prime, but good Lord, he's rated an 8th fielder with a 9 arm over in right field.
And a mustache.
Yeah, and Boston's such a weird outfield because left field is a postage stamp, but you got to be able to play the wall. Center field is a nightmare with the triangle out there.
Yeah.
And then right field is like a golf course. There's so much room out there in that low wall. So good to see you, Dewey Evans. Okay, so I need to give control of Birmingham back to the computer because we are Boston today. Even though, my heart is pulling.
Second baseman, Newt Allen.
Newt Allen. Oh, they got a Newt, too. They got a Newt, a turkey, a cool Papa on the bench.
Great nicknames.
First baseman, Oscar
Cool
Charleston.
Papa Bell was a prolific base stealer from the Negro League days, and the line on him was a Buck O'Neill line, who was the storyteller of the Negro League era. A great player, but later on, storyteller. Said Cool Papa Bell could flip the switch and be in bed while it was still while the light was still on. So I know you'll like him as a pinch running option later on.
I love it.
Here's Oscar. I guess that's fair.
I didn't see it. What?
He laced it down the line past Boggs. It looked foul, but apparently fair ball.
Designated hitter, Mule, Suttles.
And so many of the players on the Knights can steal. Charleston just hit a stand-up double. He's 87% to steal third base.
Lordy.
We better keep an eye on him. Okay, that's better. Here's Mule Suttles doing Mule Suttles things. Oh, he's going for 3.
No way. He's gone.
That Mule
Third
can
baseman,
run.
Cristobal Torriente.
Cristobal Torriente, who was I don't honestly know, but he came from the Caribbean. So, and there were more than a handful. There were a decent amount of players in the Negro Leagues who were actually from the Caribbean, and he was one of them. And he could pitch too. It was a snap throw down to third. Suttles is back. Dihigo can pitch as well. So it's kind of ridiculous. Normally we've got
Pitching for Birmingham, Ray Brown.
We've got 14
leading
position
off for
players.
Boston, third baseman, number 26, Wade Boggs.
And 12 pitchers on every roster, but they have, I think, 3 position players who also pitch. So in a long series, Birmingham becomes even more of a nightmare because they got plenty of guys who can just pitch an inning and then go play third. It's like playing, it's like playing travel ball.
Love it.
Here's Wade Boggs, the AL's leading hitter. Willie Wells has him.
First baseman, Nomar Garciaparra.
It's weird to hear first baseman, but makes sense. An error
Left fielder,
on
number 9, Ted
to throw.
Williams.
E6. Throw pulled Charleston off the bag. Here's Ted. Wild pitch. Nomar the second.
I'm having a little lag, so sorry.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Got Nomar at second. Ted Williams pops up. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, it's gotta be really rare.
Right fielder,
He's really
White
mad.
Evans.
All right, here's
White.
White Evans, who, like you said, is leading the league in total mustache.
Yes,
And maybe eyebrows too. Like,
outstanding.
that's a hairy guy.
Magnum PI play right.
Right. I'm sure he parked this red Ferrari in the lot.
There you go. You got. Sorry, I totally spaced. Who was the helicopter pilot?
I believe that was TC.
TC. Yeah, TC just dropped them all.
And Rick, who was kind of worthless, right? Rick's like, he said he'd leave me tickets. Here's Biz Mackey.
He's just demonstrating at the box office.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Rick.
Higgins.
Biz Mackey getting it done.
Shortstop, Willie Wells.
A clean single to right, and his OPS probably went down from 1,350. Here's Willie Wells. Mackey's not taking that.
Left fielder, Martin Dohigo.
Dohigo. Hey, I managed to get him to pronounce it right.
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm not sure if that was a bunt or just
Right fielder, Josh
just a
Gibson.
Nubber. All right, here's Josh Gibson, the standard bearer for hitting excellence in the Negro Leagues. Just has had a rough year.
Below 200. Wow.
Yeah, 17 homers though, so not bad. But that's going to get down. But only one in. Okay. So first and third for Turkey Stearns. Oh no. I mean, I'm kind of torn here, right? But, so with 4 runs in and 1 out, do we need to get somebody up for Pedro? It sounds awful, but
I think we wait a little bit longer.
All right. Here's Newt Allen. All right, if Oscar does something, we got to get that pen going.
Sounds good.
Strike 3.
All right. Here's Mules. Now, Mules their best hitter. We got 2 down and first base open. You want to pitch around him, maybe? I mean, I wouldn't put him on intentionally, but if you look at his baseline numbers are 356, 40 homers, 89 RBIs on a regular season. Torriente behind him is 289, 10 homers, 55. So I know who I want to pitch to.
Yeah, I would pitch around him for sure.
All right.
Oh man.
Did
you get it?
Okay. Still hit a laser beam.
That's
the Bill Matlock.
Yeah. All right, here's Yaz. We're only down 5-0. Here comes the comeback.
Shortstop, number 2, Xander Bogart.
6. Give me something to work.
We need something going on. Bogart's got a lot of that, but Dohigo seems camped out. Yeah. Yaz was not a
designated hitter.
Well,
Mo Vaughn.
57% Roto, but we're down 5-0.
Yeah, I think you got to let Vaughn hit.
All right.
M.O. Vaughn.
Strike 3.
Yeah,
Catcher,
Mo's
number
not
24,
beloved
Mike
in Boston
Stanley.
because he left, right? But he wasn't that good in Anaheim or New York or the Mets. So it kind of feels like it's sort of like the Patriots are always letting go of guys who are, good names, but they're never as good somewhere else.
Right.
That kind of seems to be how Boston feels about Mo Vaughn, that they're kind of glad that the divorce happened because they didn't sign him to a huge deal and then regret that contract for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And then Ortiz showed up and he was like Mo Vaughn plus. So
with charisma.
Well, yeah, and what was I going to say? Well, I couldn't really play first, but and Ortiz is having a terrible year in eternal baseball. So to look at Boston's record without much from Manny, from Ortiz, or from JD Martinez, it's pretty impressive. So anyway, here's Mike Stanley, who's the backup catcher, but has played well in limited duty.
To Rich Gedman.
Yeah, right. No, to Veritek. He displaced Gedman. Gedman went down to Pawtucket. All right, send Yastrzemski to third. Safe chance 66%. I don't think so. Not with 2 down.
Nah.
Went down 5-0. We don't need to get too creative on the base pass. So no. Stay put.
Second baseman, number 15, Dustin Pedroia.
Laser show. Ooh, Pedroia. I may have to work on that. All right. Taps out to Willie Wells. Great play. We go to top of the third. And Cristobal Toriente.
Canicorn.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all over that. Biz Mackey. Look at this. Maybe Pedro has righted the ship.
Ball 4.
Or not.
Take your base.
Willie Wells can steal, so we want to be mindful of him. Did we pick him off? Yeah, I think we did.
Wow.
We caught him stealing, so there you go.
Nice work.
Very nice. Clean inning for Pedro. Here's Wade Boggs. Got a lot of that. But Turkey.
You get it?
Oh, it's off the wall.
All right, here we go.
I was thinking Boggs might be going for the first triple of his life, but no. But no.
He's laden down with all that chicken pregame.
Right? Chicken Man. Nomar gives it a ride.
Oh, man, I think that's off the wall.
I think Stearns caught it, but Boggs can tag up. 91% chance if we send him.
I think so.
Right. Slide Boggs. Oh, it gets away from Toriente. Boggs scores. There you go.
All right.
Creating some offense here. Good thing, too, because you can't count on Ted Williams to knock him in. Look at Ted. So mad. I'm a big Ted Williams fan. If you're an American, you better be a Ted Williams fan. So,
yeah.
Here's Dwight Evans. That is a foul ball.
Ball 4.
All right.
Take your base.
I wouldn't call it a rally, but it's positive. Here's Yaz.
Really
I think Wells'
killing us.
nickname, I have to look it up. I think his nickname was, or one of them, maybe it was Diego. They just called him the Devil because he was just such a nightmare to play against. I'm like, that's a pretty good nickname.
It's a great nickname.
And they basically call you Satan when you show up at the ballpark.
Strike 3. Here out.
Here's Josh Gibson.
Ball 4.
I'm not that mad about that, even though he's having a rough year. It's like when Ruth gets walked, right?
Yeah.
When we walk Willie Mays, and I'm like, I'm kind of
Or Bonds, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with that.
You give that single to Bonds. Like, oh,
Yeah, cool. Love it. I'm gonna call that a win.
best possible outcome.
Yep. Here's Turkey Stearns, 3 RBIs today.
Strike 3.
I'm sitting down. Newt Allen.
Strike 3.
Sitting down. All right. Here's Xander Bogaerts. Flying out. Move on. Looks like Gibson's on his horse. Okay. Got it. Brought in Mike Stanley.
Strike 3.
Sitting down. All right. Oscar Charleston got a lot of that. Oh, but Dwight Evans brings it in.
Nice.
On the track, he gloves it for the out.
Get a little bit of lag, so that's why I'm a little slow on my reactions.
Okie doke.
Yastrzemski, did he get it?
Yes.
Nice.
Was Ted real thrilled about what just happened? Probably not. I just saw a highlight from spring training where it was in a bit, but it was hit right at the left fielder. I think it was an Oakland game. or maybe a Toronto game. Anyway, the center fielder out of nowhere comes flying in to make the catch, and it was a sac fly. A guy tagged from third, and unless the left fielder has no arm whatsoever, the momentum for the throw
takes him 3 steps to plant himself.
Yeah, terrible. And the guy was safe, but not by much. And I'm like, I might have let the left fielder. Anyway,
he's probably a rookie. He was trying to impress.
I think those guys are watching too much Eternal Baseball.
There you go.
I was thinking about that. Like
21-year-olds just taking notes. Like, oh man, that was amazing.
when this fully explodes and we are on our way, I can imagine guys in spring training being like, "Did you see what I did in Eternal Baseball last night?"
There you go.
But most, there aren't that many. I mean, there's a chunk, but there aren't that many current major leaguers who are on Eternal Baseball rosters. So
yeah,
I can only imagine, Mike Trout being like, "You see me 5 RBIs in the game last night," and the guys are like,
pregame they just stopped playing video games and they're watching our broadcast.
Yeah, or the other guys are like, "That guy's a prima donna." Right. Ever since he heard about Eternal Baseball, he's been just a nightmare to deal with.
They start commenting on that.
Right? Yeah, they start following.
Like that jerk face. I know that guy.
Here's Pedro grounding out. And Wade Boggs. Yeah, that's how deep Boston is. Devers doesn't even play. Right? Like ridiculous. And there's Nomar. Grounding out to Cristobal Torriente, one of my favorite names. But Bismacky pretty much takes the cake.
Bismacky.
Strike 3.
I have to check to see if Willie Wells had a nickname because he feels like he's not fitting in without being like the Tornado Willie Wells or something.
Yeah.
Yaz is getting it done in center. One of the things that works for them, while Boston still has Mookie Betts, because he's more Red Sox than Dodgers so far. Eventually, that'll shift and we'll move him. But Betts is rated like a 7, I think, in center field. And he just never got the chance to play there in Boston because they had Jackie Bradley. And that's no offense to Jackie Bradley, but that's the only reason you'd have him in the lineup. Is to catch everything in center. And so Mookie's ridiculous and right, but in a different world, he probably would have played center field in Boston. Or even
honestly, second base. He was seemed like he was very passable second baseman.
Yeah, they've talked about him maybe getting some more reps this year now that second base is, or now that infield is a little more wide open there for the Dodgers. So. We need more from you, Ted. Maybe I'll sit him down and have a TED talk with him. What do you think? I'm sure that'd go over great.
You got Ted, your laser pointer and your slide, your slide deck or whatever.
Can you imagine the skipper patting the bench and saying, "Hey, Ted, come down here for a second." Run,
the quants upstairs have some ideas for you.
Exactly. We got some analytics for you.
Listen, Flyboy, I need you to sit down for a bit.
Right. You may have been hot stuff in disguise, but 0 for 3 ain't getting it done. Josh Gibson flexing a little bit, but Yaz has been fine in center so far. Here's Turkey Stearns sitting down. And Newt Allen.
Got a nice little groove going here.
Yeah, Pedro's really turned it around. And just like that, time for the stretch.
I'm interested to see that Padre lineup this year.
Yeah.
Bogarts and crew, if they're going to be able to make that work.
I saw one of the guys who's been there a while, I forget who it was, said about Nelson Cruz coming in. And they said there were years where signing Nelson Cruz would have been the big deal of the offseason here, right? And now it's like the 5th thing we did.
Yeah,
right? Like,
totally in passing. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Shrug.
And I'm kind of curious to see how Tatis is welcomed back. I'm in San Diego, I'm sure it'll be fine, but around the league, because we haven't had a young guy make that bad a decision in a long time. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Trevor Bauer notwithstanding, But
right. I think there's definitely levels of impropriety, right?
yeah, you almost have to go back to A-Rod to have a guy who was that young and that good who made such a terrible decision.
I kind of think it's going to be not a big deal at this point. And we've had so many years of these, minor suspensions and everything that.
Yeah, he's different though, isn't he? Just because it's hard to wrap your brain around a guy that young, that good, who still felt the need.
Yeah.
To get an edge, that sounds ridiculous. Like he's Fernando Tatis, we'll see.
Just hanging out with the wrong guys, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they're on the rise, and it feels like the Dodgers may have slipped just a little bit. So with the injuries, certainly not helping LA either. So it could be a dogfight all year out there, which will be fun to watch. All right, here's Bogaerts. And I kind of get Boston letting Bogaerts walk. I kind of get it. Mm-hmm. But the bets will never make sense to me. A big market team getting rid of their best homegrown talent in 20 years, probably.
Yeah, good community guy too, right?
That's great. And the twist of the knife that none of the prospects really turned out, right? They traded him with a year left on his deal to get better prospects, and none of them turned out.
Yeah.
Here's Mo Vaughn with a soft single to center, but we'll take it.
Send him.
Right? 22%. I'm the hit dog, not the run dog. Mike Stanley got a lot of that, but Martin Dihigo. If it's not off the wall, it's probably caught in left field. I got to remember that. Here's Dustin. How late is it? So we're bottom of the 7th. Got Vaughn at first. We're down 5-1. Boston has, for right, OPS is right. Yeah. I mean, Pedroia's not very good, so this might be a good pinch hit opportunity here.
You want to put bets in?
Well, I just want bets. They don't have him qualified at second base, which is
gotcha.
I'm going to have to look at. Yeah, I don't think we have another second base option right now.
Yeah.
So we'll let him hit, but I will dig into that because Betts played enough second that he should qualify. I don't get that. All right. Can't say we didn't look. And it doesn't matter anyway because the laser show is in full effect.
Vaughn taking third.
Mo Vaughn.
That's embarrassing.
Mo is short for motor, apparently.
that's like Sid Bream taking third base.
Right. Here's Wade Boggs. Runners on the corners. Yeah, is that going to get through? It is.
All right.
Send Pedroia to third. 83% chance to be safe. 2 down, though. Down 5-2.
No.
Yeah, I don't think we can do that. Especially with the heart of the order here. Let's see what Nomar can do. No, never mind. I set him up. I feel responsible. That's like the Purdue hasn't missed any free throws in 3 games. Oh, bonk. Sorry about that, Purdue fans.
Yeah, this is like Willie Mays today.
Yeah, dude. Who knew? Here's Mule Suttles. That's one thing I like about Boggs, and he's not real popular up in Boston, but because of where he went. And I think once he rode that horse, I think he was pretty much dead to the Boston folks. But one thing I really like about him as a pro is he got a lot better defensively as his career went on. Went from probably subpar to pretty good. And for a guy who was hitting 330, 340 most years, he didn't have to do that. There are plenty of hitter first guys who are just like, the glove is what it is and I'm going to get paid. But the fact that Boggs worked on it and became a pretty good third baseman, I give him some credit for that.
Props.
Here's Cristobal Torriente. Looks like Dewey Evans is all over that. Ted Williams, 0 for 3.
You got to get Ted Williams in.
Look at Ted Williams. Lashing it to right.
Send him.
38%.
All right, Dewey.
It reminds me, if we send him now, it reminds me a couple years ago. Was it Ben? I think it was Jose Molina was the Yankees' backup catcher. And so he didn't play much. And so he got into almost June without a base hit. He was like, but he was only like 0 for 23, right? And so he would start like once every other week, right? And he would no
Just
hit at
put
all.
up the call.
And then he finally just smashed a line drive to right, but the guy cut it off before it got to the wall. So it looked like a sure double. And I don't know if that's what he was thinking, but the guy, whoever it was fast, got the ball before it lanced through to the gap. And Molina had already turned for a second.
Like, this train's a coming.
He was just hosed at second base, and the Yankee dugout fell apart. And he finally had his hit, and then he got thrown out, trying to stretch it for 2. It was hysterical. All right, so Dwight Evans, help us out. That ain't gonna do it. And here's Yaz.
Ball 4.
All right. I think Brown's only thrown 82 pitches. So he's good for quite a while. Here's Xander Bogaerts.
Ball 4.
Oh, we're in this, Roto.
It is a rally.
Bases loaded, 1 down 5-2. It's scheduled to be Mo Vaughn. And no offense, Mo, I'm just going to take a peek here on OPS versus right. Yeah, Mo's our best option. Not by much, but he's the guy. Yeah, and Stanley's good too. So we don't really have many options here. Oh, look at that! It's down the line. Surely Yaz. Oh, Gibson fumbles the ball. Yaz is in. Mo to second. It's 5-4. Second and third. Mike Stanley up. Now, the only bit I would bring up here, with runners on second and third, 1 out, Mike Stanley kind of. Stanley's numbers are outstanding against right-handers, right? Where is he? Yeah, 360, a 909 OPS. It is kind of limited duty. We do have Ortiz, who's the legend, but his numbers are not there, even against right-handers. He's better against lefties, which is ridiculous. But Ortiz is 183 on the year against righties.
Your call, man. Your call if you want to do that.
I think if I pinch hit Ortiz, people will think I'm submarining him on purpose.
Okay.
So, and I'm not. So I'm going to let Mike hit. Look at that. And I'm right again. It doesn't happen that often. All right. Send Vaughn home. 52% safe. There's only 1 out.
I think you let the rally go.
Yeah. Now, I've come around on this. If there were 2 outs, I would send it. Because 52% is a lot better than counting on the next guy to get a hit, right? So, but for now, Mo can stay put. I'm happy about Mike Stanley. We are tied up as the laser show comes up again, 1 for 3. It's a dribbler. Send Vaughn home. Safe chance, 27%. It's 2 down. It says the chance for a double play here is only 1%. So they're not going to get both. If we let it roll, somebody else is going to get the hit, and it's going to be Boggs.
Okay. Yeah, I think you wait on it.
All right. So we're not sending Vaughn home. Pedro is out. Runners second and third for Wade Boggs.
Here it is. Come on, Boggs.
Oh, look at that. Clean single to left. Vaughn is in. Send Stanley home. Safe chance, 50%.
I think you sent him. Don't you think?
I'm just trying to think who's up next. After Boggs, it's Nomar? Yeah, it is Nomar next. So, yeah, I kind of like that 50% chance.
Yeah.
Because we already took the league, right?
Yeah.
This is house money on some level.
Let's do it.
Send the slow ass catcher home. Yes. Boggs to second? No.
No.
Don't need that. Ah!
That's all right. All right.
All right, so Martinez has thrown 106 pitches. He's got 19 left for this ninth inning. I think we want to get somebody up just in case.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe a lefty. Oh, there are no lefties. Let's see. Dutch Leonard is theoretically a lefty, but it'll take him a while. So we'll get him up just in case it goes terrible and we need somebody for Turkey Stearns. But from the right side, ERA, oh God. If I warm up Papelbon, the Red Sox fans will hate us.
You can't do Papelbon.
Looks like it's Smokey Joe Wood.
Perfect.
All right. Even though Papelbon's numbers are ridiculous, Boston hates that guy. So
He's gonna, he'll blow it up.
yeah, Josh Bard style. Did you see Bard last night?
Yeah,
That was hard to watch. Ooh.
brutal.
All right, so here we go. Pedro. I'm hoping it's just Pedro. Ah! That Bismacky, I'm telling you. Lead off double. Willie Wells next. Stanley wants a word. I don't blame him.
Ball 4.
Ah, Wells walks. So Wells walks. Pedro's only got 9 pitches left in his arm. Is it time to go to the pen? Or are we sticking with Pedro? Both guys are ready, Wood and Leonard.
I think you got to go to the pen. Don't you think?
I think so. I'm so gun shy because we've been bit by the pen so often. But here, look at this guy.
Smokey Joe Wood.
He's got that Chris Martin hair part.
There you go.
Come on, Smokey Joe. Help us out.
Strike 3.
Okay.
All
We're
right.
a double play away from getting out of this. And it's only Josh Gibson.
That's all.
No big deal.
Strike
Well, we
3.
got him.
No
All
way.
right.
He's not going to strike the side out, is he?
Well, I'm just saying we have a lefty ready. 2 of the next 3 hitters are lefties, but Wood struck out the only 2 guys you faced.
I think you got to let him go.
All right. Smokey Joe, help us out. Ah, it's a single. This is what we didn't need, extra baseball. Mackey scores. Wells goes to third. We're tied up, which is not what we wanted. Newt Allen pops it straight up. Maybe this will be a walk-off. Bottom of the 9th. We go home happy. All right. No more.
Ball 4.
I like it. And we've been hassling Ted all day. So there we go.
Didn't
Not
see
quite
a
to the
single?
wall.
Okay.
Single
nice.
to the gap. Nomar held up at second. Evans is a bad bunter, so he's probably swinging here. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, Dewey. Oh, look at this. That's the
game. That's the game, right?
Nomar rounded third. Send Nomar home. Safe chance 32% with nobody out.
No, they can't do it.
You
Dang
can't.
it.
All right, because we could win this on a double play ball.
There we go.
All right, Nomar home, no. Ray Brown's almost out of gas, but it'll be Ray Brown's last stand against Yaz. Yaz, 5 game-winning RBIs on the year.
This is it, man. Line it up.
Oh, a snap throw to first. Evans is back. Another snap throw to first. Oh, they got Dewey first. 1 down.
Bro.
How are you going to do that, double up on that and get caught?
Ridiculous.
Well, that's Biz Mackey for you. Yaz with a pop. I think that's on the infield. This is not what real life commentators are like. They're like, I mean,
Just
extra
like
baseball. Ray Brown's tired, but he's still going to pitch to Sander Bogarts,
Ball 4.
who walks,
that was our run right there.
right, to reload the bases. Here is Mo Vaughn. They're sticking with Brown, even though he's pretty much exhausted. Mo Vaughn dribbler. Did it get through Charleston? Looks like it got through Charleston. And it's an error for Charleston and the Red
Final score
Sox.
from Fenway Park. Boston 7, Birmingham 6. Smokey Joe Wood is the winner.
You know
He is
what?
now 1-1. Ray Brown is the loser. He is now 10-10. Turkey Stearns hit home run number 6 on the season. Time of the game, 2 hours, 47 minutes.
That's probably our best comeback win ever.
Yeah, man. Wow. Look at us.
Six
Runs
runs
in
in
the last three.
Pretty good. Boggs is our MVP. And of the pitchers, neither one had especially good or bad stuff, but it's Smokey Joe Wood getting the win and the blown save.
All right.
So we appreciate that. So, hey, pretty good game. Better game than we thought it was going to be.
Great game.
Kudos to the Red Sox. If you like what you saw, we encourage you to come back. You can find us on our website at eternalbaseball.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. We got a lot going on. We're headed down the stretch. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we hope we'll see you again on another thrilling edition of
Thanks, everyone.
the Eternal Baseball Podcast.